Hello, I'm David Rose, and here's a look at some of the top cases featured this weekend on Washington's Most Wanted in partnership with Crime Stoppers statewide. Starting with new information in the ongoing search for the 4 suspects who shot a 2-year-old little girl in the face. This is video from the scene at 23rd Avenue South and South Jackson Street in Seattle's Central District on Sunday, April 11th. The little girl was in the arms of a man who was also shot, along with 2 other men who were wounded by the gunfire. Amazingly, all 4 victims survived. Listen to these gunshots.
Suspects park behind an AutoZone at 23rd and Jackson, run around the side of the building, stand above a little walkway, and fire more than 30 rounds into the parking lot, striking these 4 people.
Well, another witness heard those shots and got this cell phone video showing the gunman running from the scene. Detectives describe all of them as young black men. Take a good look at these photos of one of the suspects. He was wearing a blue old-school Mariner sweatshirt that looks like this one. They got into an SUV and took off.
We've recovered that pewter-colored Tahoe that was involved in the shooting. It was a stolen vehicle. That's been recovered. Detectives are getting evidence from that as we speak.
So if you know the names of any of the suspects, you will remain anonymous when you submit a tip to Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound. You will never be asked to give your name, and you will be paid a cash reward of up to $1,000 per suspect you identify. You can text the information right now through the P3 Tips app that you can download to your cell phone for free, or you can call 1-800-222-TIPS. What is wrong with this next creep? Federal Way Police want you to take a good look at the guy you see here wearing the dark gray shorts, black long sleeve shirt with letters in white going down the left sleeve, and a grayish light colored hat. Detectives say he groped 2 women last week on Thursday, April 29th. Investigators say he first grabbed a woman's chest in the parking lot of the Target store at the Commons Mall just before 1 p.m. A half hour later, police say the same guy slapped a woman on her backside in the Ross parking lot, located across the street from the mall. Detectives say he got into this silver 4-door BMW sedan. It did not have any license plates, only a temporary license tag taped to the inside of the back window. Detectives are concerned there could be more victims. So if you know who this is, if you recognize him, that car he drives, put it all together, submit a tip right now to Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound through the P3 Tips app. Federal Way Police want to stop this guy. They want to know his name and arrest him. You're going to get a cash reward of up to $1,000 if your tip leads to his arrest. You know, stealing from service members of the military will never sit well with Washington's Most Wanted viewers. So tonight, an extra sense of pride for anyone who can help Lacey Police identify this pair of car prowlers. Detectives say they stole thousands of dollars worth of valuables from several vehicles inside the parking garage of the Tuscana apartments on Birdseye Avenue Northeast. This was on Wednesday, April 21st, around 9:30 p.m. Detectives say the suspects smashed out a window of a vehicle that belongs to a service member at Joint Base Lewis McChord who had some of his gear stored inside.
Military items such as camouflage backpacks or ruck packs. This is often gear that's issued to the soldiers that soldiers will use, in their job or in the field. So, this equipment is not only a loss to the individual soldier, but it's a loss to, everybody, really. Because these folks are out there serving us and they need their gear.
Police say the suspects drove into the unsecured parking garage in a white Toyota RAV4 with a black roof rack on top. Detectives say the SUV and some features on both suspects' bodies are clues that might help you identify them.
The woman, if you look at that, the image of her, it looks like right around her left eye, she has what appears to be a tattoo or maybe a large mole. And the male, if you look at the image of him, on his right arm, forearm, top of the forearm there, you can see a large tattoo.
The suspects are believed to be in their mid to late 20s, possibly early 30s. Detectives say the hoodie that woman is wearing is a Mosey brand sweatshirt. If you recognize them or know anything at all that can help Lacey Police find them, submit a tip right now to Crime Stoppers of South Sound. You can call 1-800-222-TIPS. or text the information through the P3 Tips app on your cell phone for a cash reward of up to $1,000. Tonight, a mother's plea for your help after her son was hit by a vehicle in SeaTac. He was almost killed. Well, first, here's a look at where 34-year-old Cassidy Hanna was found unconscious on the shoulder of the road on March 20th. The address is 21229 Military Road South. That's south of Angle Lake, east of I-5, and north of South 216th Street.
His head was split open, bleeding on one side of the brain, compound fracture in his leg, broken collarbone, broken ribs, and literally left in the road to die.
Detectives with King County's Major Accident Response and Reconstruction team recovered a windshield wiper and some small plastic lens fragments. Unfortunately, they have not been able to identify the make or model of the vehicle that hit Cassidy. He has a traumatic brain injury. He can't walk. He's still in a rehabilitation center where his mom can't visit him because of COVID restrictions. So Sergeant Tim Meyer is making a direct appeal to the driver.
The burden that they're carrying in this case weighs 1,000 times more than whatever the car was that they were driving. You know that you hit somebody, and you know that you took off, or you know the person who did. You're coming out every day and you're looking at a car in your garage or something under a tarp, and you're carrying that guilt. We need to get that burden lifted.
Well, there's a lot of traffic on Military Road South. It was dark out and there were no sidewalks, so it may have been just an accident. If that's the case, do the right thing and come forward.
You can't do this to somebody. Hit them down, leave them in the road to die, and take off. No, they have to take responsibility for their behavior.
So if you were involved at all in this hit and run in SeaTac on March 20th, or you know the driver who is, please contact Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound, provide the information through the P3 Tips app, or call 1-800-222-TIPS. Monday will mark 1 year since an 18-year-old young man, full of so much promise, was gunned down in his car right in front of his house. Connor Dassa Holland was murdered on Mother's Day. You may recall his mom's tearful news conference outside her house in the Rainier Beach neighborhood of Seattle.
The person who did this to my boy, they needed a hug. They needed more love. They couldn't have done this if they would have had those things in their life.
Now, as the holiday approaches, she's frustrated. His case remains unsolved, and she's working with Seattle Police to try to help other families of murdered children.
Sweet boy.
How do you decide what to put on a grave marker for your child? Alicia Dassa says they chose the words they loved the most about her son. Uso from his friends. Littlest boy from his grandpa.
Priceless was mine.
The marker for Connor Dassa Holland was just put in place at Greenwood Memorial Park in Renton this week, days before the anniversary of his murder.
People assume or they think that it's been solved. People think that the person is in jail and they're not.
Connor spent the last day of his life with his family. Not long after they got home, his mom asked him to move their car to in front of their house. He drove around the block, and as he turned from South Fletcher Street onto 51st Avenue South, someone in a vehicle opened fire. This is the only surveillance video police have found. It shows the suspect's vehicle speeding down the hill past another car before it turns left.
What we need is that vehicle and who was in that vehicle.
Seattle police say they followed up on every tip, every social media rumor, and all of the physical evidence recovered, but nothing has identified the killer.
They're at a stalemate right now, and they're looking forward to that piece of information to either prove or disprove who might have done this to Connor.
We need people to step up.
As she waits for a break in the case, Alicia has been meeting with Seattle Police command staff to try to address the senseless violence that took her son's life and many others in the last year.
Chief Diaz told us there's 110 shootings so far in 2021, but there's not 110 shooters. And that was something that stuck with me, because the people that are doing this are empowered and emboldened to keep doing it. And who's to say that they're not going to knock on your door next?
As she grapples with the constant anxiety of not knowing who shot Connor or why, she's planning to be right back here with her family on Monday, 1 year to the day he was murdered.
I love you.
So here's one more look at that vehicle as it speeds from the scene after somebody inside it shot and killed Connor. If you know who that is, please don't stay silent. You do not have to give your name. You will remain anonymous when you submit a tip to Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound. His family and Crime Stoppers are offering a $6,000 cash reward. You can submit tips through the P3 Tips app on your cell phone or call 1-800-222-TIPS. So that's a look at just some of the cases police need your help with this weekend. To see all of them, join me tonight on Washington's Most Wanted at 11 o'clock on Q13 Fox. The show also airs tomorrow night, Saturday, 9:30 on Joe TV and 10:30 on Q13 Fox, as well as on Fox TV stations in Spokane, Yakima, and the Tri-Cities. Let's make sure these criminals have nowhere left to hide.